So he comes through some very empowering people. He's a real mover and shaker, wherever he is. And what I like about Karsten is he's somebody who changed his life, changed his health to make his body be the most optimum health he could be, so he could actually be a contribution on the planet and help save Mother Earth. And tell me what's written at the bottom of your emails under your name.
Vibrant health for people on the planet. Yeah.
And then you have free water for everybody, or what, healthy water for everybody. What else does that say under that?
Well, that's a green tech startup company that I got involved in San Jose called Free Hot Water.
Free hot water.
But my real passion is Green Elixir, which is my health website. So I do health coaching, and I put some nice articles on my website. I'm going to start carrying products. I'm going to write a book. I'm starting to do speaking engagements.
And he plays volleyball too.
And I play beach volleyball and soccer and ride my bike and do martial arts. And yeah, I was up at 5 a.m. today, played a little soccer for a couple hours, and going to go out tonight to First Friday art tour in Santa Cruz. So.
And your home is entirely green also.
My home is very green too. But
So,
we're here. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that out of him, he shared earlier in his article that he had gotten ill in his early 20s and decided to really commit to his health. And out of doing that, all these other expressions of his are coming out. All these things in his career, in his home, in his play, and that's the example of when you take that stand to be good to your body naturally, the intuition and the courage to expand that out into your world. He's a great example of that, and I really wanted him to come share because it's not that common in America, and I really, really respect that.
Thanks.
So,
I guess I'll say two other things in that regard is I have a PhD in environmental science. I'm about to start a master's in nutrition, and I teach green building at San Jose State and UC Santa Cruz currently, but I'm really wanting to move into the health realm more. So I think I have a short amount of time, so I just wanted to talk briefly about what I think are some of the most important health things, say the 5 most important things that I like to focus on, and they're going to focus around nutrition. And then we'll get into maybe 2. We'll have time to get into maybe 2 of them. So to me, probably some of the most important things would be probiotics in one's diet, and we can talk a little bit about maybe 2 of these 5 at your pleasure. You can pick the 2. Another one would be, sort of what my food pyramid would have a lot of leafy greens at the bottom of it. The biggest component of my diet would be a lot of raw leafy greens. So we could talk about what a modified food pyramid would look like. So that's another thing that I think is really important for people. A third thing is what are healthy fats, and why fat doesn't make us fat. Fat does not cause heart disease. That's 15-year-old bad science. The new science says good fats are good for us, and we can eat as many as we want, as much as we want of those things, and they're actually good for us. So we can talk about what are those good fats, how can we incorporate those into my diet, to our diets. And we can also talk a little bit about how we can manipulate our bodies to create lean body mass, to produce human growth hormone at levels that we produced when we were younger. Except for some of us who are younger. Yeah, I'm 45, and I'm out there playing soccer with guys half my age and keeping up with them and beating them in some cases. So I don't know everything, but I know a lot, and it's working for me. Is that number 4?
Yeah.
And the 5th one, we could talk about ways of included in ways to manipulate. There are about 5 hormones in our bodies that have play a large role in creating lean body mass, telling our bodies to burn fat and put on muscle, not to be muscle builders, but to have the body that we want. So we could talk about how to manipulate those in ways other than nutrition. So there's some of the things I think are really important to people. And I'm curious if any of those, somebody's burning to talk about any one of those, because we'll probably have time to talk about two of them. The last two were?
The manipulating your body to make more lean body mass, and the non-nutrition ways. We've been talking about nutrition for like 9 weeks now. We've learned a lot of really good stuff, but I would love to learn something else.
Okay, great.
Does that include the 5 hormone things?
Yeah, that was the hormone one.
Yeah, I'm very interested in that too.
Okay. Then let's start with a few little tricks that most people don't know. So one of the ways, I won't get into some of the names of these hormones, leptin, ghrelin, and there's a couple of others. I won't get into the names of those because they don't really matter, but what matters is what works. So one way you can tell your body to put on lean muscle mass and to drop fat is to stop eating at, say, about 2-3 hours before you go to bed. So you stop eating, you brush and you floss, and you're done. Now, you know, Saturday night, every couple of weeks is a party, all bets are off. Enjoy your life. But you do that 90 to 95% of the time, and you're giving your body sort of a mini fast, so maybe you don't eat then for at least 12 hours. You wake up with a nice little appetite. You're not famished, but you have a nice little appetite. And then what I've been doing for a couple of years now, I have a raw shake, a raw vegan shake, like I have it in here, for dinner. And that's sort of a lighter meal. I eat my heavy meal for breakfast. So I eat all morning long. I eat whatever I want as much as I want. If I want to, I'll eat a pound of high quality meat with a big salad. Now I'm pretty active, so I can eat all morning long, and then I'll follow it with a bowl of primal cereal, which could be coconut milk and some raw nuts. It's best to soak your nuts for a couple of reasons we could talk about. But the point is, one way to trick your body, or not to trick it, to tell it to put on lean muscle mass and burn fat, is to eat your heavier meal earlier in the day. And then your body, it's like stoking the flame. And your body wants to burn all those calories, and it has all day to burn them. And then you taper it off later in the evening. You eat like a salad or a raw shake or a lighter meal, and you stop 2 or 3 hours before you go to sleep. And similarly, most of the time, it's best to go to sleep, at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Your body does a lot of repair work on adrenal glands and other important functions that play a part in these hormones between 11 and 1 a.m. So you want to be asleep at that time, ideally. I go to a party every couple weeks, all bets are off. But in general, I'm in bed by 11, up, whenever I want to be up. So that's another little trick. Other little things you can do, we'll get into fats in a second. There are ways of exercising that most people aren't aware of. And there are two, and they seem counterintuitively, they seem at opposite ends of the spectrum. So one way to tell your body to produce human growth hormone, which creates lean muscle mass, burns fat, and it produces the right balance of hormones to do that, is interval training. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. So, and you can do that on an elliptical machine, you can do that sprinting, you can do it on an exercise bike. There are lots of different ways of doing it. So who doesn't know what interval training is? So what's interval training, for those who know?
You work out in a short, intense burst in the middle of your regular workout. So you go moderate pace for 5 minutes, and then 1 minute of really fast, really hard, and then go back to your moderate pace.
So, and my favorite version of it, you can be ripped exercising, ripped meaning you can have the body you want, I believe, and I know a lot of people have achieved that, some of my coaching clients, in 20 minutes a day, 5 or 6 days a week. Doing this and one other method I'll tell you in a second. So this would look like your exercise of choice, whether it be elliptical, exercise bike. I like to do sprints, on the sand or barefoot somewhere. You can do it different ways, as long as you're not going to injure yourself. And you want to work up to this, but it would be 8 sets. You do sprinting for 30 seconds, sprinting or whatever exercise you're doing. So in my case, sprinting for 30 seconds, and then I would do an easy jog for 90 seconds. That's set 1. I do that 8 times, it takes 20 minutes. And you'll be very fit, much more fit, by the way, than if you ran 5 miles, which would take you maybe, I don't know, an hour or so. You'll be much more fit. It's about capacity rather than endurance. This is the new exercise science. This is what it's showing, because and it gets back to sort of the paleo. I'm not dogmatic, but there's a lot of wisdom in the way that we evolved. These are the ways we moved, evolving. There's some of the ways we moved. It was these spurts. So you do this for 30 seconds as if your life depended on it. Now, you can't start with 8 if you haven't been doing this. You want to start with 1 or 2, and you want to make sure you're warmed up before you do a sprint, before you go all out. But that's one way. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? So you do 8 sets of those, and you'll feel amazing after you do it. And within a couple of weeks, you'll notice a difference in your body. You will be fitter within a couple of weeks. And you'll probably see changes in the right direction very quickly if you do that kind of exercise. Now, some people say, oh, I can't sprint, or I can't do that on an elliptical machine. Okay, fine. Here's another trick. You can do the exact opposite, which is called super slow exercising. So I'll just give you a super quick demonstration. So it would be doing a push-up. You can do it with any exercise. You want to do no more than 12 reps of whatever you're doing. And it would be super slow. So it takes me maybe a count of 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5, 1,000, 6, 1,000, 7, 1,000, 8, 1,000, 9, 1,000, 10, 1,000, you know, and then same thing on the way up. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. And, you know, 10, 1,000. Do whatever exercise you like to do. I mean, you know, squats are good. Your legs are your biggest muscles in your body. So that'll do the same thing. It'll tell your body, hey, produce human growth hormone. It uses the entire range of the muscles. And if you try that, say you can't do the sprints, or you don't want to do the sprints. You want to do this other thing.
Is that kind of like yoga?
Yoga, some yoga has similar, it affects your muscles in similar ways.
Okay, right.
Those super slow movements fatigue the entire range of your muscles and tell your body to put on lean muscle and burn fat.
Because when you see people who've done yoga for a long time, they're extremely, extremely fit.
Right.
And they didn't do any running or anything. And so it is that same thing.
It's the same, yeah, it's ironic that the super slow has the same effect as the interval or the sprints. And again, you know, the best muscles, and by the way, if you do this with your legs, it'll improve the musculature of your entire body because it'll produce that human growth hormone. So your whole body will benefit. You do it with your legs, you'll drop fat in your belly, even if you don't do any sit-ups or anything for your belly. So, and your legs are, you know, the biggest muscles. Those are the ones you could really, you know, do squats like that with, that kind of thing. So those are a couple of the tricks, is the timing of what you eat, and, you know, stopping eating 2-3 hours before you go to sleep, waking up with a nice appetite, and then kind of flip-flopping the way most of us grew up eating, which is we eat the big meal at night. Well, you know, a lot of that food's going to turn into fat. But if I eat my big meal earlier in the day, breakfast and don't skip breakfast, by the way. That's one of the worst things you can do, because then you're telling your body to starve, and you'll probably, there are a lot of studies that indicate if you do that, you're going to eat junk food. You're going to go for the donuts or the bagels or the, you know, whatever it is, less healthy options. So eat a good, healthy breakfast. In a nutshell, that's kind of a way, those are some simple ways to manipulate the hormones. other important things that are related, I know you've talked a lot about nutrition, that's what I'm hearing. So, you know, I would, Chinese medicine believes in some cooked food. I eat about a third cooked food. I would encourage you to eat as much raw food as you feel healthy eating. This is my raw vegan shake. It's what I have for dinner every night. I have a lot of salads. I always look to, what did we evolve eating? That's kind of what I look to. As far as we know, what did we evolve eating? And then the kinds of, if you choose to eat animal products, what kinds of animal products? I only eat grass-fed beef. It's got the right kinds of fats. I cook it as rarely as possible. You only, by the way, you only need to heat something to 150 degrees for 5 minutes and you'll kill anything. So you can eat stuff that most people would consider very rare. And why would you do that? When we cook things, we're destroying enzymes, we're destroying nutrients, we're changing the proteins into, depending on how much we cook it, something that's foreign to our body and that becomes toxic. If you cook it enough, it becomes toxic to your body. You're changing the fats into something in grass-fed beef that's actually healthy. It has omega-3s, by the way. And we talked for a second about why we need omega-3s, because most people don't know. They just heard, oh, we need omega-3s. You're transforming the fats into something that's toxic if you cook it too much. So the lowest temperature possible and the rarest possible if you choose to cook your food. I get pasture-raised eggs at farmer's market. I eat them raw. It's the healthiest, one of the healthiest meals I can imagine. And again, you know, raw food's not for everybody. I don't recommend 100% raw. I don't eat 100% raw. But the benefits of raw food are enzymes, intact nutrients, fats that are healthier for you because they're not destroyed, proteins that haven't been modified and made more foreign to your body. Those are some of the benefits of the raw foods. Our bodies can produce enzymes to digest our food, but it takes energy to do that. And as we age, we produce less of those enzymes. All the food comes with enzymes in it if it's raw. I don't know how much you've talked about fats, but I'd love to talk about fats for a second.
Yeah, we'd love to have it. We had one half of a class on that, but we'd love to hear more.
Sorry, can I ask a quick question first?
Yeah.
I just wanted to know what you said the names of the hormones aren't important, but I have a nutrition background and I want to look into them more. So besides ghrelin, leptin, and human growth hormone, what are the other ones? Is it 5, right?
Yeah, you know, and do I have them all? There are about 5 basic hormones. Do I have the names of them all memorized? No, but I could email that,
would be awesome.
to Shasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can look that up and email that to Shasta.
There's cortisol.
Cortisol is like, yeah, the stress hormone. You can manipulate that one. And that one causes your body to put on fat if you have it in your system over time. And so cortisol is the result of chronic stress, whether it be emotional stress or physical stress. And the way we evolved was it was okay. Our bodies could have a little bit of cortisol. It was designed to be sort of an acute stressor. And this was a hormone our body produced in an acute stress, like we're being chased by a predator. We didn't really evolve to have the kind of chronic money worries or other stresses that we have today. So when you have cortisol in your system chronically, it interrupts your sleep cycle. It tells your body to store fat because your body, it's telling your body, times are tough. You better put on some fat because, you know, we need to be careful here. There may be a food scarcity. There's some kind of stress going on. That's what it tells your body.
And ghrelin is in the stomach, right?
It's the satiety hormone.
It's
Right.
yeah, and really one interesting thing I heard from a longtime friend of mine who couldn't lose weight and is a Chinese medicine practitioner, tried everything. She actually ended up getting the stomach stapling thing, and it worked for her. She finally lost the weight, and she said because some people produce too much ghrelin, and the stomach produces it, so they're always hungry. And when they actually took out part of the stomach, she was finally able to. The body finally didn't keep storing fat. That was a really fascinating thing about the stomach stapling. that's what she finally, through all her research, and it finally worked after like 35 years of trying to figure out what to do.
Wow.
So sometimes the stomach might be not acting right with that particular hormone, out of control, where you're not even eating that much, but your ghrelin is producing too much and storing fat when you really shouldn't be. And that surgery will help that. It's very fascinating. When they tried everything else. This is when they tried everything.
The last as the last resort.
Yeah.
Got it. You know, so I think other than including probiotics in your diet, I think that's the best, one of the best do's, and lots of leafy greens, raw leafy greens, that's, you know, those are two of the best do's. Do those two things. For me, the best don't is minimize sugar in your diet. I try to stick to no more than 25 grams of sugar a day. And then even familiarizing yourself with how much is 25 grams. That's, to me, the level of care you want to take of your body. You want to know, at that level of detail, what is 25 grams of sugar? How much sugar is in this banana? How much sugar is in that cookie? If I choose to eat that kind of thing. And then you can play a game of, oh, okay, I had 3 cookies, that's about, 15 grams of sugar. I've got, enough for another banana left and I'm good for the day, or however I want to spend those 25 grams. That, to me, is how much I think my body is a temple. I want to be that aware of what I'm putting into it. And sugar is about the worst. Let me back up for 1 second and say that if you think about it for a second, virtually all of our modern ailments are caused by inflammation, or inflammation is a byproduct. So whether it be cancer, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, arthritis, they're all inflammation. And what's causing the inflammation? It's an imbalance of omega-6 to omega-3 fats in our diets. I don't know if you've talked about that. Okay. What else is causing inflammation? Sugar. And I believe grains are also a cause of that, especially simple carbohydrates, which turn into sugar as soon as they go into your body. So I personally minimize grains of all kinds. That's my belief. I know not everybody agrees with that. But those are the major problems in our diet, and those are all causing inflammation. It's not rocket science. It's pretty basic to eat the right kinds of fats, healthy fats, to eat enough protein, whatever source you use for protein, and to minimize the sugars, the junk food.
So the sugar, doesn't matter if it's coming from fruit or cookies or whatever, it's just all sugar in general?
I'd recommend you eat a little bit of fruit, but I'd recommend you limit it to 25 grams of sugar a day, which would be, a couple pieces of fruit, and you're at, depending on the fruit, average banana, about 7 grams. And that's, you want to eat some blueberries, some strawberries. Go for the lower glycemic fruits and know what those are. The higher ones, some of the highest ones are like grapes. Each one has a couple of grams of sugar, probably about 3 grams of sugar per grape, depending on the grape. So they're really high on the glycemic index. Berries in general are low on the glycemic index, and they're full of antioxidants. Cherries are good. I have a banana a day or so. I'll have a little bit of dark chocolate, but I get super dark chocolate. The whole bar's got about 15 grams of sugar in it. I'll have that a couple times a week with some almond butter. So you talked about omega-6 and omega-3s.
Let's talk about it.
So do you understand, anybody understand why we always hear that we want to supplement with omega-3s?
For the ratio.
Yeah, so it's about the ratio. So essentially, we evolved with approximately, the ratio that we evolved with in our diets for hundreds of thousands of years was approximately 1 to 2 omega-3 to omega-6. Anybody know what the average American diet ratio is today? 1 to what?
20.
Yeah, it's about 1 to 20, 10 to 50, depending on who you are. So it's way out of whack. And that causes a lot of health problems, chief among them, inflammation. Where do we get all these omega-6s? Vegetable oils. Our diet's chock full of them. If we're eating conventionally raised meats, eggs, chicken, beef, whatever, we're feeding all those animals stuff they didn't evolve eating, like corn and soy. And guess what that does to the fats in these animals? They're chock full of omega-6s. So our whole diet, chips, everything, all that vegetable oil, we didn't evolve eating vegetable oil. The stuff is poison. It's rancid by the time it's produced, all the vegetable oils. Butter is much better for us, especially if you can get grass-fed butter. It's got omega-3s. It actually has healthy fats. It has GLAs, it has omega-3s, CLAs, all these amazing healthy fats. Same thing with pasture-raised eggs. And I pay $6 or $8 a dozen for my eggs, and they're worth it. And my body's worth it. So, you know, the way to minimize those omega-6s, also nuts, which I love raw nuts, and I recommend you soak them. Nuts have a lot of omega-6s. All nuts and seeds have a lot of omega-6s, except walnuts have omega-3s, flax seeds, which we all have heard of, chia seeds, and salsa seeds. Those are your good sources of omega-3s. But those are ALAs, alpha-linoleic acid, ALA omega-3s. The ones we always hear about that are beneficial for our health are EPAs and DHAs. And those come from primarily things like animal food sources, like we said, you know, salmon, grass-fed beef, lamb, and my favorite omega-3 supplement is krill oil. Someone's nodding their head. It's
What is it?
krill, K-R-I-L-L oil. It's a vastly superior omega-3 supplement. Why? For a few reasons. One, your body assimilates it or absorbs it much better than fish oil. So you only need about 1/5 as much. Maybe 500 milligrams a day is all you need. It comes with a built-in antioxidant called astaxanthin, which, by the way, is, as far as we know, it's the most powerful antioxidant out there. If you were going to take, you know, one antioxidant, skip vitamins, because this one is 50 times more potent than vitamin E, vitamin C. You can buy astaxanthin, but krill oil comes with astaxanthin that also prevents it from oxidizing, because omega-3s are inherently unstable. If you think about omega-3s, they all come from cold climates. The seeds, you know, where do they grow flax seeds? Canada. Omega-3s are in what kinds of fish? Cold water fish. So omega-3s are oils that are found in cold climates, so they easily oxidize and become rancid and toxic to our bodies through light, air, and heat. So don't get flax oil because it's rancid. Don't get the omega-3 eggs because they're feeding them rancid flax seeds. Get krill oil or get whole flax or chia seeds and keep them in the refrigerator. And then soak them and then use them. You can grind them. You're going to have to grind flax to digest them well, even after you soak them. Chia you don't need to grind, but you could. I put them in my raw shake. This thing's got a lot of flax seeds in it that I soaked. So those are your best sources of omega-3s. Other good fats? What are other good fats?
Coconut,
Coconut oil. Why?
medium chain fatty acids.
Yes, why? Why are those good?
They actually help you lose weight.
Exactly. Yeah, they're turned straight. They're unique because they're turned straight into energy in your body. They're really easy on the liver. Most fats are difficult for your liver to digest, to transform into a usable form. These get turned right into glucose, and your body can use them as energy. So yeah, medium chain fatty acids, coconut oil, palm oil is a good one. Avocados. You can use as many avocados as you want. I'm lucky this time of year my neighbors have avocado trees. I make an avocado pudding. My favorite's key lime, with the limes from my neighbor's trees. Chocolate avocado pudding. There's some avocado in my shake. Salads. Anyway, avocados are amazing. Olive oil is a good one. That's an omega-9. It's not good for cooking, but the other good thing about coconut oil, of course, is it's not, unlike all the other oils, it's not damaged by heat. Because you think, it makes sense, it's from a tropical climate. It's not, it doesn't oxidize by light, heat, and air, like omega-3s do. So you can keep it out of the refrigerator. I put some in my hair after I got out of the shower today. Put it on your skin. If I get hungry, I can just, But
What about ghee? Cooking with ghee?
I think that's a good oil. I'd rather see you get some grass-fed butter.
Where do you buy grass-fed? I mean, how would you even know
Whole
that?
Foods has it.
Oh, okay.
It'll say, and it's not cheap, but your body's worth it. Your health is worth it. That stuff, it's a whole different class of food, and it's the kind of stuff we evolved eating.